What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Blitz City Podcast for episode 14 of FBS Fridays with the panel. My guy, Kelly Flicks, my co-host, Clay McCarter, and of course, our guy, Blue. Y'all know who Blue Bloods is. What's going on, y'all?
What up, baby?
It's good.
Let's get to it. We got a lot of fun topics.
I'm ready, bro. I'm excited about some of these topics. All right, let's get into the first one. All of them in their prime. I sent y'all the picture, but I'm like, I ain't like Vince Young and Tim Tebow. That's Tim Tebow can't throw. He's a great college quarterback. He can't throw. That was a little too easy. So, all in their prime, who is your QB1? Joe Burrow, Cam Newton, Deshaun Watson, Kyler Murray, Trevor Lawrence, Baker Mayfield, Justin Fields, Lamar Jackson. Those are some of the top quarterbacks in the 2010s. All in their prime in college. Who you going with?
I need 6'6", 260 on my team. I need that. Cam Newton, Auburn, what you did in one season was amazing. The fact that I saw you do it at Auburn, I feel like you could do it anywhere else. You know what I mean? You could take that at University of Arizona and it might work, right? So Cam Newton and what he did carrying those guys, I'll take that on my team all day. QB1, Cam Newton.
Okay. I didn't want to be biased, but if he's going to kick it off, it's also Cam. I mean, when you look like let's just take a step back. I mean, you could say that Louisville team Lamar played on probably beats that Auburn team without Cam Newton. I mean, that's how bad, like that Auburn team got the same head coach fired like a year later, going 3-9, winless in the SEC without Cam. Like, and let's be honest, he won a national title at Blinn. If he would have stayed at Florida, our guy down there, Clay, said they would have had 2 more rings with Cam Newton at the helm after Tebow left. I mean, the guy's a winner. He took the Panthers, who have been a poverty franchise in the NFL, to the Super Bowl. I won NFL MVP, did something. Everyone said, don't draft him number 1. Running quarterbacks aren't going to work. He set every record that you can in terms of a running QB. I mean, he's done it all. And listen, I'm taking Cam Newton. Joe Burrow, he's a close second, but man, that first season where he kind of struggled as LSU's quarterback is if you're splitting hairs, I got to take that. Cam has never had a bad season at the collegiate level, and I still think if you take Tebow out of the picture, he probably starts as a true freshman for Florida, and they probably make a run at the national title with him as a true freshman.
Okay, taking Tebow out of this. Obviously, you know the Florida bias, and I like how you said he can't throw, but meanwhile, I mean, he definitely has the stats to back it. I mean, he did play 19 years in college, so
I knew this was gonna get Clay. Go ahead, bro.
It's not getting me going. It's just, I mean, he's got the numbers behind him, but
yeah, of course.
I'm gonna go Joe just off of the 1 year LSU, because that's probably the greatest single season in college football history. But I'm gonna throw y'all for a mix. If I'm going QB1 for their prime, for their total career, out of every single one of these people that's listed for their total career and what they did, give me Deshaun or Baker.
Really?
For their entire career. Deshaun Watson's a better quarterback was a better quarterback in college than Trevor Lawrence was.
Okay, yeah.
Baker Mayfield's numbers at Oklahoma is stupid. Absolutely stupid. It's better than Justin Fields. It's better than Lamar Jackson. He's better than Kyler Murray's. Baker had more of the consistency, I guess, than Kyler had, because Kyler was kind of the quick, short-term success option after we transpired into the whole Lincoln movement. But give me QB1 based on that one season. Joe Burrow. It's honestly, it's tough to argue. The dude almost had 6,000 passing yards. And they didn't play like a little soft sissy schedule either. But that's mine. I'll go with that. I'll rock with that.
Yes, I'm gonna definitely go Cam Newton. Okay, all bias intended. People know that's my favorite player of all time. That's just who I'm picking off the rip. I mean, do we not forget that performance that he put on? Not even versus LSU.
Arkansas game.
That amazing run, but against the Gamecocks. Y'all remember that game?
Oh, in the SEC championship, where he threw like 4 first-half touchdowns, and I mean they boat raced a really good South Carolina team that beat Bama by double digits that year.
That's the Steven Garcia throw the ball in the end zone game.
Yeah, where they had Alshon Jeffrey and Marshawn Lattimore, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm. Stephon Gilmore.
No, Marcus Lattimore.
All right. Now let's get to the topic that I really want to get into. Top 5 college football human highlight reel players of the 2010s. Okay, I need them. Now, me personally, clearly you got to go with the guy who has arguably the best highlight film of all time in Tavon Austin. That's
Absolutely.
a no-brainer. DeAnthony Thomas, Lamar Jackson, Trevon Boykin, and then I'm gonna go Leonard Fournette. I wanted to pick 2 Oregon players. I wasn't gonna do that. I'm gonna stick to DeAnthony because LaMichael would have been on it.
I like that.
I'm gonna agree with a couple of those. I'm definitely gonna say DeAnthony Thomas. I'm definitely saying Tavon Austin. I'm gonna throw a weird one in there. I don't know if y'all gonna agree with this one or not, but you might have to go Money Manziel. You just might have to.
I don't blame you for that. Yeah,
You
That's
just
a
might
good one.
have to on the highlights. You just might have to. A lot of them are very broken plays where he throws to 6'5" Mike Evans, who's in triple coverage, and somehow he comes down with it. Great. So I'll go Johnny, Tavon, DeAnthony Thomas. I'll take Lamar for sure. And then 5, I'm gonna throw another weird one. I'm gonna go McCaffrey.
Christian McCaffrey.
I'm gonna go McCaffrey. Some of those plays that he made, some of those running plays that he had, where he would hit one cut and then just be gone. I mean, this man had to have over a dozen 60-yard chunk plays in one season.
Okay, all right, hey Kelly.
I like that. So since it was like kind of like your top 5, I took it more personal, you know what I mean, to kind of be like my favorite top 5 highlights, not necessarily the best, right? So a couple of these guys on this list, you know what I mean, they like busting NFL and stuff, but whatever, right?
Oh yeah, that's cool.
So of course we got the Black Mamba up there, Tavon Austin's up there, no doubt. But Cordero Patterson at Tennessee, turn his highlight tape on, the 9-minute one with no music, just him just juking guys, everybody, like him reversing field like several times while they're down 42-7. Just watch that. It's pretty crazy. Then you also got Corey Coleman at Baylor. He had 20 touchdowns in the season. His highlights are ridiculous. The RPOs, just nothing but deep bombs. Either a bomb or a scream is a touchdown. So Corey Coleman's highlight tape was crazy. And then Devin Funchess from Michigan. He was an absolute beast out there, like a hybrid receiver tight end. He was like a man amongst boys in the Big Ten at that point, and he dominated the skies.
I like that. Okay, real different. I like that. Bluish shorts.
I knew everyone was going to pick the same one, so I just picked the 5 underrated ones. I knew we were all going to pick Tavon Austin and Lamar.
Yeah, right.
I was surprised, man. Tyrann Mathieu was up there for me, man. Like, just when you look at his overall special teams, his defense. I mean,
we were all thinking offense. I don't even think about it like defense.
No. And I got another defensive guy. Do y'all remember the highlights of Ndamukong Suh?
Oh my God!
Yeah.
Oh my goodness! Right.
He looked like he was playing against kindergartners.
It was nasty.
As a senior in high school.
Yeah, like I might be cheating because I think he might have been 09, but I had to throw because man, his highlights were just. He carried a defense. I just want to put this in perspective. A defensive tackle carried an average Nebraska team to the Big 12 championship. Like a D tackle, that was like a 3-tech nose carried a team to a conference champ. I mean, that makes no sense. I will throw an FCS one in there. Armani Edwards at Appalachian State, who led App State to the upset. Yeah, led the App State to the upset over Michigan's a 2-time Walter Payton Award finalist, had 65 rushing touchdowns. I got to throw him in there too. But man, those are really mine. And then also, I do want to throw in here another FCS guy, Cooper Kupp. I know people slept on him, but if you really watched FCS football, he was putting people through the ringer up there in Eastern Washington. People did not want to see that 6'2" blonde-headed white dude running routes, man. He was just electric. And then I got to be biased. I think because he played in 2010, I'm going to go with Cam too. I mean, every week there was a different. I mean, that LSU game, how many highlights did he when he outran, what was it, Patrick Peterson in the open field and beat him on the angle? And then Clay mentioned earlier that Arkansas game, putting up 65 points to beat, rest in peace now, Ryan Mallett. It was 65-41, and he had the Superman dive over the pile for the big touchdown. And I mean, listen, I got to go with Cam as my last one.
Yo,
I would say
I
that.
enjoyed that, but you know who I forgot? Who I wish I would have included now? Jabril Peppers.
Oh yeah.
Jabril Peppers at Michigan, bro.
He had
It's
some
a
good
fun
ones.
one.
He had some good ones. I was gonna say one. I don't know if how far back y'all can look at this because it was a very weird time in college football. But what do y'all remember Taylor Martinez?
I do.
Yeah.
Nebraska, right?
Taylor Martinez low key had wheels. He low key had some wheels. He had some big
Buddy
tough
was
running
nice.
plays. He wasn't like super fire or he was nice, but I do agree with Blue on the Ndamukong Suh. He crawled so like the Nikem DJs, the Ed Olivers could walk kind of thing where like you could like have a D tackle like anchor the defense and like do something with it.
And I think we forgot a big one too. What about Clowney at South Carolina?
Oh.
Yeah, that's what I thought you were gonna say when you said Sue.
Excited to watch a defensive end play football in my life. After he came off that 13-sack season, do you know how many people tuned in to that opening week game versus North Carolina? Like every time Clowney got close to the quarterback, the crowd erupted. I remember that. Like he didn't even get a sack that game. I think he got close, but like the crowd erupted every time.
This is going to be probably the boldest take I've ever said in my entire life of saying college football. Give me literally any possible highlight ever. Clowney's Michigan hit in Tampa is number 1 of all time. I don't care what anybody says.
It's up there. I mean, that's probably the most viral clip in the past 20 years.
What led up to that situation when you see
Right.
them pull the chains out and Spurrier loses his shit, and you see Clowney look at the ball and he just shakes his head, lines up, and then as he's getting up, one hands the ball and tries to take off. Oh yeah.
Well, what about Braxton Miller too at Ohio State when he moved to wide
Yo.
receiver?
Receiver Braxton Miller, right?
That spin.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that spin was if that happened in Madden, people would be saying the game was glitched. Like
God.
that's how stupid that play was.
What about the Lamar Jackson? I think it was Lamar Jackson against Syracuse. Lamar Jackson hurdled 2 guys in one play, and it was like a 60-yard touchdown.
Lamar Jackson had so many highlight plays, like juking 2 Duke defenders in the backfield and still getting the first down or something crazy like that.
Yo, all of these years of these highlights being like ripped and like taken from us from NCAA football not being around really sucks. You know what I mean? Like Patrick Mahomes, the whole sideways throw is on Madden now. Like imagine how many of these moves that we missed on NCAA all these years.
Oh yeah.
Oh god.
Shame.
And then another, just real quick, I know we got to move on, but this underrated one too was Justin Blackman that one year at Oklahoma State. What was it, 2010?
Yes.
2011?
11 with Brandon Whedon.
Yeah, because they almost went to the Natty, or they should have been in the Natty if but Bama jumped him, of course, and we know the whole story there. But man, he was unstoppable. Like you could put 3 dudes on him, and he was going to get 3 tubs.
No, for real though.
Oh yeah, he was doing his thing.
All right, so let's talk about let's see what's next. Jim Harbaugh. All right, my guy is so serious about getting over that hump, man. That they got to beat Ohio State interval in practice. That's the rival. That's normal. But now he includes the beat Georgia interval into Michigan practices, and it leads you to think this is normal in college football. But it's like, is this the year that Michigan gets over the hump and gets to the national championship? Because I mean, when you do stuff like this, it's pretty obvious like how dedicated you are, how determined you are, and where your mindset is. Is this the year, man, that he gets to the championship? Not forget winning, just get there.
So this is the thing. Harbaugh has had this target on his back that just comes from what his regular season's going to shake out, because his Super Bowl before he even hits the playoffs is he going to beat Ohio State?
Mm-hmm.
We have seen the last 15 years of what happens. He's not honestly that proven. He's a guy that Michigan will never fire unless they have a reason to fire him that's beyond him having one losing season. He could have a losing season. They're not going to fire him. They're too emotionally invested into him. Him making the playoffs this year should be an inevitable. He should be easily a 1-4 seed. There should be no problem there with the talent he's returning, adding in his recruiting class, the development of his what were freshmen to now. There should be no reason why he does not get to the playoffs. Now, him making it to the Natty, depending on seeding and what other teams are looking like, it's looking very likely. They should finish this season, in my opinion, top 2. They should. Now we have to see what's going to happen with Georgia. They haven't lost a game in 2 seasons. We might not know who they have rolling out at quarterback, but what we do know is they don't miss on the recruiting trail. They fill every single position that leaves with talent, and then they have guys in the fold that they can develop and be able to throw in there as true freshmen or regular or sophomores, regardless, and still be able to produce. So if they roll out Carson Beck, they roll out Brock Vandegrift, they roll out Gunnar Stockton, it doesn't matter. Whatever they're going to do, they're going to scheme around that. Georgia's going back to the playoffs. It's a slick reality of it. What do they end up being ranked? Who knows? Do they make it back to the Natty? I'd say they probably have over a 60% chance of going back. Why? Because they haven't lost in 2. They haven't lost in 2 years, and their schedule. They're playing Bluffton High School week 1. They play Savannah State Catholic Women's School week 2. They play the School of the Deaf and Blind week 3, and then week 4. I'm pretty sure they're playing. They might be playing Montessori like daycare, but that's neither here nor there. They still haven't lost a game in 2 years. I'm not hating on Georgia. That is what it is. He's gotta be able to show that he can, number one, beat Ohio State this year. And you've got to be able to steamroll that playoff matchup. You got to steamroll them. You have to go in there with the momentum and show that you're a number 1 team in the league, depending on what Georgia and USC do. I think that's his competition this year is USC and Georgia. Whatever shakes out, and then the 4th spot can be whoever. If it's Nick Saban, great. If it's anybody else, great. But I think those are the 3 locks for the playoff this year.
Kelly, what you think?
I mean, this is like typical Jim Harbaugh. I mean, ever since he went to that satellite camp in Florida, took his shirt off in front of all the recruits, we kind of all should have understood that Jim Harbaugh just does things different. I think for a football team to have a beat UGA period, I would not be surprised if 10 other programs has the same thing, because when it comes down to beating Georgia, a lot of teams haven't proven that they can do it. You know what I mean? Even teams that choose to go get that fade, Oregon, they chose for that fade, pulled up to Georgia and got served. So when it comes to beating the top guy, it's going to have to be Georgia. Of years past, you may have said Alabama, but I don't think this is that big of a deal, the fact that it's called beat Georgia. I think that University of Michigan has a mindset, a championship mindset ever since beating Ohio State. They finally got over that hump. And last year, they almost got a taste of the national championship, only losing to TCU by around 6 points. So I think they kind of got a taste of it, and now they're understanding what it takes to win it all.
Yeah, I think this has to be the year almost. I mean, you return so much talent, returning quarterback Blake Corum. If I don't think he's back if he doesn't get hurt late last year. So like all these things lined up for him. Ohio State, this is the first year that they have real quarterback questions in a long time. So everything's lined up for you outside of Georgia returning so much talent, and they got a new quarterback. Bama has quarterback questions. The only other team out there that is competing for a natty that has a QB answer set in stone is really USC with Caleb Williams. You maybe can include Cade Klubnik for Clemson, but we still don't even know what he technically is going to look like for a full season. So Michigan, this is really a do or die year. And I think people kind of overreacted to this story where I saw people saying they should have beat TCU. They should have this and that. It's like, man, the goal is a national championship. If you're Michigan, you've beaten Ohio State 2 years now. You've won the Big Ten multiple years now. The only thing left is to get to the national championship. If you want to win that, you know who you're going to have to beat. And so I don't have a problem with them saying we're going to install a beat Georgia interval into the practice, because that's what you're going to have to do to take that trophy back to Ann Arbor.
And you know what? That was going to lead me to my next question, right? We knew when Harbaugh first started, there was pressure because he couldn't beat Ohio State. There was real pressure. There was real, like, alums getting upset saying this man needs to be fired if he can't beat Ohio State. We just can't take this anymore. And finally, he does it. Now he's at a point where he's accomplished that, and next up is the championship. And it's kind of like, man, you're choking with that too. If he does not get there this year, do you think that talk comes back to where maybe he can't get us there?
This is the thing, and like I was mentioning, Michigan will beat their chest on beating Ohio State, going to the playoffs, losing, and that's fine to them. They've shown that that's okay to them in the most recent years. Harbaugh, like I was saying, Harbaugh has to do something to where they have a motive to fire him. He could have one losing season, and they're still gonna let him try to throw it again next year, depending on what his recruiting class is that year. Mm-hmm. They're just too. It's the loyalty that they have within one another. I guess is one of those things where it's okay. I know that they float those rumors around about him going to the NFL and joining his brother or whatever, but I don't see him. There's pressure on him to win it because he needs to do that to solidify his coaching career. But at the same time, even if he doesn't and they beat Ohio State that same season, they don't care. They just don't care.
Yeah, I'd say that that Michigan-Ohio State game is extremely valuable in both of these coaches' careers. Ryan Day, Jim Harbaugh. If we talk about when Michigan and their whole fan base was unsettled with Coach Jim Harbaugh, was when they were losing 6 straight times to Ohio State. Now, Ryan Day and Ohio State lose twice to Michigan, and now people are looking at Ryan Day funny, right? So that game holds a lot of weight and is extremely valuable, and is only a stepping stone, right? So really, to me, what Ohio State's been doing with that game is we're going to wash out Michigan. Now we go to the playoff. Let's try to win the playoff, right? Now, Michigan is trying to get back onto that type of page. If we beat Ohio State now, we should be contending for the championship. There's no reason why we should be losing the semifinal. So I don't necessarily feel like Coach Harbaugh's job is on the hot seat right now because they are beating Ohio State right now. Taking that next step is going to be the most crucial. And I'm not sure if it's really going to take J.J. McCarthy to do it or Blake Corum to do it, but somebody has to make that next step for them.
What's good, Zoe? And yeah, man, I agree. Like, there's always pressure to win a championship. Like, let's be honest, when you look at some of the top jobs across the country, even teams that aren't good right now, there's pressure to win a national championship at Florida. There's pressure to win a national championship at Auburn. There's a pressure to win a national championship at Clemson, Bama, Ohio State. Hell, there's national championship pressure at Tennessee, who hasn't won one since '98.
That's
like all across the country. Like, that's the goal. Yeah, there's the goal for everybody. So
prestigious schools, that's what they hang their hat on, man. You should be, if you're not playing for the national championship every year, if you're a top 10 job in college football, like Zach said, like if you're not competing year in and year out or getting close, that's a failure to them. Like when you're that prestigious of a school and you look at like the same thing that he's saying, like you look at these guys who have dozens of Heisman winners, you have national championships, you're consistently a competitive team. Like if you're not playing for the ring, then it don't matter.
Yeah, I mean, and there's always rivalries. Like, listen, that's why I think Auburn, Alabama, Michigan, Ohio State. I mean, that's the consensus top 2 rivalries in the country. I mean, no one's going to argue that, and it's because those wins in that rivalry matter more than national championships in the aspect. Like, let's just be honest, Harbaugh has the longest losing streak to Ohio State of any coach ever, and they were like, why haven't we fired him? Why did we let him get to this point? Like, they were ready to fire him, going 10-2 every year. If Harbaugh went 11-1 for like 10 years and lost to Ohio State every year, he would be looked at negatively in the hit. Like, you cannot lose that game. So that's how important that is. But there's absolutely pressure to win a championship, just like there was pressure on Dabo to finally break through after he made a few playoff appearances. Same with Kirby Smart. There was a lot of conversations before Smart broke through. Is he going to be able to get over the hump and win the national championship? Ryan Day, the list goes on and on. So Harbaugh's at that point, and if he doesn't win it this year, there's going to be some strong looks of what is it going to take for you to build this team into a championship, not just contender, but a championship team.
I think another thing to add to what you're saying too is, and I think probably a lot of ADs might be looking at the same thing too, is Sonny came in year 1. You know what I mean?
Okay. All right.
And that was an extremely talented TCU team. I just took a look at the guys that got drafted. It's ridiculous.
Oh, yeah.
Starting quarterback, running back, both the receivers. That's a lot. We'll get into that later on, though, with the possible upsets.
Yeah. So, Kirby Smart. He recently had a player who I think he got off on that allegation. But, I mean, this now makes, 11, maybe even 12 players accused of sexual assault / abuse since his tenure at Georgia. You got to wonder at some point, or at least ask the question, is Georgia starting to lose a grip on the culture similar to what Jimbo was doing at Texas A&M? Or is this just inevitable no matter who? Because even Bama had problems, right? Is this kind of thing inevitable when you're having so much success with all these young kids so fast?
No, it's not. I wouldn't say this is regular. I don't think, I think the school has to do their due diligence, administration, go look into it, do your internal investigations and figure out what's going on. But this isn't regular. I mean, we didn't see this at Jackson State. They went 2 back-to-back celebration bowls. You know what I mean? This isn't regular to me. To me, this is okay. This is something that we got to check out. I don't necessarily feel, I'm not sure who's at fault. I'm not sure who did what, but something like this needs to get nipped in the bud now. You're building a championship program. You're probably going to have your own era in college football, if we really think about it, Kirby Smart. So let's clean all this stuff up now and not let it get too big. Let's clean up this mess.
I would agree on that, but I would say that, number one, when you have 11 accusations with, number one, sexual assault and abuse, and you also factor in the unfortunate deaths that happened in the car accident,
right?
And then the quote unquote racing incident. Is it inevitable with success? I wouldn't say that you have to mirror success with things that have to do with either A, breaking the law, or having accusations against you, even if you might be guilty or not. You know what I mean? I would say that you compare this to what's happening at A&M. The product that was on the field, even with those things going on, is completely different. So that shows a little bit of a hold on culture. I mean, Jimbo had guys smoking weed in the locker room on Instagram Live, and nothing happened.
Crazy. That's still
Kirby has accusations of these things, and these boys are still going out there absolutely hooping and winning natties. Does that justify whatever their actions are? No, absolutely not. If you're doing either one of those things, if you're involved in any kind of sexual assault claim, that's something that should be taken back very seriously until you're proven guilty, because that's just what it is in the great United States of America. But it doesn't. I don't want the topic itself, especially for like viewers. I don't want that to be shown to where it's inevitable with success.
Oh no, like it's not acceptable.
No, it's not acceptable. I know all 4 of us are gonna say it's definitely not acceptable. But I mean, I wouldn't say that just because you have a hooping team. Bama has problems. Ohio State's got problems. Everybody's got problems. I mean, there's going to be a bad egg. You have so many of these young men that are not adults. I mean, Alabama just had a dude doing 140 with over a quarter pound of weed and a loaded handgun running through cops down a major highway. And that's not the first time that he's ever had something like that happen. I mean, it's social media era with this younger generation of kids that think they're invincible, and they're still not even grown men yet. You know what I mean? It's just how do you bring a bigger stop to this? Because it's like
you got to nip it in the bud. When they get to campus, you're getting these meetings on consent. It's being taken more seriously now. You're getting these meetings on drinking responsibly. They're putting things in place for you, like, okay, if you're gonna drink, if you're gonna party, they got the buddy systems. They have all these things in place. They're teaching these kids when they come in to not do these things, and you're still seeing a lot of it. So like, how do you stop it?
At the end of the day, man, I mean, all four of us can say, man, we've all been young adults at one point. I would say that we're still young adults. I mean, I'm speaking for myself. I turn 26 next Saturday. I mean, everybody makes mistakes, man.
I think somebody called it. Okay, that's right.
Yeah, you're still gonna do something. You're still gonna want to go out and you're gonna want to explore. You're on a college campus. There's girls out there. You're hanging out with the guys. I mean, they're still gonna go do things. It just comes down to what their judgment is in the time frame. Knowing right from wrong, knowing when to stop, knowing when to realize the situation could be escalating for the worse. Man, you can put these buddy systems, you can put these consent classes, you can put these player meetings out there, but at the same time, at the end of the day, these are young men that still
just stupid.
Still are gonna be stupid, bro. You're gonna be stupid. You just can't be stupid enough to get yourself in trouble with gambling, women, guns, drugs, alcohol. You just, like I said in like episode 1 or 2, dogs, drugs, alcohol, women, guns, speeding. You can't mix any single 2 of them and not expect to get in trouble. Warren Sapp said that.
After midnight too is the other part.
After midnight.
that one.
After midnight. Not that it's okay to do it before midnight, but after midnight.
I will say, I don't think it's a conversation of like how do you I don't when you let's just be honest, when we were all 18, like when you get 120, when you include the walk-on 18-year-olds coming into the building away from home for the first time, there's bound to be like every team in the country has had one or two things happen off the field that may or may not get reported. What I will say though is when your program is having large amounts of success or large amounts of failure, the microscope and the volume gets turned up on what's going on outside the building and what's going on. Just everything's magnified. What if you're winning a lot and losing a lot? Because if you're losing a lot, everyone wants to know why. And then when you're winning a lot, everyone wants to know why. And some people want to say, how do we bring that down?
Absolutely.
So I would say that that's the difference when you look at something like Georgia too. And I think when you look at it, because did y'all read the article from the AGC or whatever it was? It was like the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. Like what they were saying is they were wondering why that like all 11 players that were accused, if I'm not mistaken, had no charges filed, but they still were mad at Kirby for not kicking them off the team. And it was like, well, if they're proof, like Kirby Smart's looking at it as one, I'm running a business,
right?
And I ain't going to get fired. I'm not kicking the kid off who didn't get any charges brought upon him. The university came out today and said that everything goes through the judicial review board, whether it happened or didn't. You know, none of us are here to say, but I don't like at the end of the day, like if the university is doing their due diligence and none of these guys are being charged, what was the expectation for Kirby at that point?
Very true. I mean, at the end of the day, like we were all saying, bro, listen, until they're, I mean, if like you said, they're not pressing charges, and they're innocent until proven guilty, until the charges hit, what are you supposed to do as a coach? What are you supposed to do as a coach? Go off of word of mouth?
This is a tricky situation. Yeah. So I think Kirby's just got to be careful. There's a line, and his toes are on that line, and he's just got to be careful not to overstay. Because and let's just be honest, man, we've all watched SEC football forever. There's been a lot of players Kirby's let go for one reason or another. So I just for me, until something comes out that says Georgia was like the Baylor situation or something like that, where they were purposely covering up sexual assault to keep players eligible, I'm just going to hold my right to reserve like my opinion on the whole situation. If the university is saying they're doing the right thing, then hopefully that's true. But if it comes out that they're doing the wrong thing, then the conversation shifts completely, and then we're having a completely different conversation at that point.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Right on.
So let's talk about the NCAA and the transfer portal. The NCAA Division I Council is proposing that the window for the transfer portal for the transfer period be cut from 60 days to 30 days. How do y'all feel about that?
I'll say that I'm all for the transfer portal. I was at first skeptical about it, but not to sound like that guy. Anything that they want to do to put it on there to make it more strict to where the players have to second guess their decisions, I am all for. Like we talked about the other day when Tyrann Mathieu made the quote saying that these kids are soft, and I had to sit behind two absolute dogs until I got my time. I'm all for that. To where if you got to make the transfer portal more strict to where these guys really got to sit down and they have to self-recollect to where, hold on, man, am I just being a diva, or I just want to change the scenery, or I don't like how the coaches talk to me, or whatever it is, man. Whatever it is to make the transfer portal where it's more strict, where you actually have to really have a very serious, in-depth conversation, I'm all for it. And I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, I'm not really a fan. I'm not going to front. I'm not really a fan of it getting smaller. You know, I like the movement. I like the player independence. I like when guys just do whatever they want to do. So I took a look at it, and the days are going to change up. So, currently after when the college football finals announced December 4th, they have 45 days, and then there's 15 days after April 15th to go. So essentially, these kids are going to get squeezed even tighter. What I will say off the top is for any players thinking about moving now, I would entice you to go get your degree. Go ahead, use those summer classes, use those winter classes, get your degree, become a graduate student, and be able to transfer free agency, you know what I mean, whenever you want to. Because under these guidelines, for an undergraduate to move, you really have to want to move. And your team has to really suck. Because once you get out there, a coach has to already have you on his mind, essentially, because of these days are going to be chopped in half. And if you miss out on these days and you got to wait for the next portal, the next window to open, you might be in trouble, buddy. To quite honestly, we might even see even more people get stuck into the portal after these rules come out.
And you know what? I think something interesting to bring up was when I was listening to Joel Klatt talk to the SEC commissioner about this same thing. He says nobody takes into account the academic implications that could happen when you transfer to a different school, because all of those credits ain't coming with you. You know, in some cases. So, like, that's something to think about as well. Nobody advises these kids on that when they just jumping into the portal. So, I'm not going to lie. I'm kind of on the train for this happening, too. But, Blue, what you think?
I love it. Listen, if you can't make up your mind in 15 days after the season that you want to transfer, then you probably haven't planned it out very well. And if you can't decide in 15 days after spring practice if you weren't going to be a contributor for your team, you probably don't need to transfer because you don't have a plan. Like, at the end of the day, because, like, this isn't like you have to be signed in 15 days. It's like, just put your name in there and you can sign whenever. So, like, there isn't like if I get left in the portal after 15 days, I'm stuck there forever. Like, man, teams can sign you and recruit you from the time you enter whenever. You just have to have your name in by that 15-day window. At the end of the day, man, just let's get everyone in the portal. So people, the point of this is to have teams be able to have some sort of roster management. You can't just have kids moving freely all the time, because coaches would never know what their roster looks like and wouldn't be able to recruit high school, JUCO, transfer portal kids appropriately, because you would never know if a kid's going to step out on you. So at the end of the day, this is good because you got 15 days. Everyone enters. You got the rest of the, winter / like early spring to recruit. Yeah. You load up your roster. You go through spring practice. The kids who aren't in the right place have 15 days to enter, and then you recruit throughout summer and kind of the period we are now where we still see kids committing. And that way, if teams are loaded up in the transfer portal, they can shift focus to high school recruiting, which is ultimately the ones who are most hurt by the free transfer. Is that high school kids are, I mean, listen, man, I cover a lot of FCS recruiting. The amount of 3 borderline 4-star kids, all state kids, district player of the years that are committing to schools like Holy Cross right now in Idaho and all these places. Like, dude, that's insane. Like, North Dakota State has almost 20 commitments right now with like 8 3-stars.
Wow.
From across the country. And like kids are committing to Holy Cross from Florida. And Harvard's getting 3-star kids from Florida. Like, that never happens, but it's because a lot of these FBS programs have already loaded up on 3-4-year eligibility transfers. Well, guess what? I don't need to recruit the kid from IMG at playing slot receiver when I just landed a slot receiver in the transfer portal that I got for another 2 years. So it's like there's like a trickle-down effect. So I think shortening up the windows, making kids have their information together, making the right decision quicker is a good thing, man. Like, at the end of the day, people got to pick a side, because on one hand, everyone wants to pay and treat everyone like adults, but then the next second, when changes are made, they're like, oh, well, they need to hold their hands. Like, these are 18-year-olds, like, they're kids. Like, we got to pick a side here. Are they adults that can make their own decisions and they have to live with it? Or do you want their hand held throughout college? Like, we're going to have to pick a side here eventually, because there's a lot of like swinging back and forth. Like, I'm for them being kids on this issue, but they're adults on this issue. So at the end of the day, like, are we going to trust these kids to make the right decision? Or do we need to stop allowing free transfers because none of y'all trust them to make the right decision?
That's a good point.
Right.
Good point.
Right.
That's a good point.
No, that's definitely the hardest part, trying to truly understand, like, as a student athlete, like, really understand where I want to go, if I want to leave, if I don't want to leave. That decision has hindered a lot of college football careers for a lot of these guys, because some people feel pressure after the season. Some people might feel like, I got to go. I'm so good and I'm the backup. I have to leave. But I think in a lot of scenarios, guys are just jumping the gun, quite honestly. And before the transfer portal, a lot of people would think twice about transferring and really try to evaluate their decision. Now with the transfer portal, people just jump and then figure out later.
Yeah, I mean, there needs to be like, what was it, the Key and Peele skit where he had like the anger translator?
Yeah.
Kids need like a realism translator where it's like, bro, I'm a backup here. I need to jump in the transfer portal. And they just need to be like, bro, you're not that good. You need to sit here and like go to D2. Like, you're not that guy. Like, you're not going into like, you're not a third stringer at Florida.
They gotta add that
was a
spot
2-star. Yeah, like, come on, bro.
Like, we got like 4 different like sports and nutrition coaches. We got director of player personnel. We got director of recruiting. We need to be director of telling you, hell no. Like, you need to bro, you need to go home and take a nap. You need to go home, call your mom, and figure this whole thing out and see what you're really trying to do, because you're sitting at Tennessee right now and you're all mad because coach don't give you no playing time. But meanwhile, the guy in front of you is probably going to go second or fucking third round or whatever. And you think that you deserve to play over him. Well, guess what? If you hopped in and got the same reps as him, you are not going in second or third round, regardless of whatever the year you were. Like, they got to have somebody to be able to be like, listen, let's get grounded for a second. Like, let's come back down to earth for a second. I know coach held your hand in high school and told you was the man and he was so thankful for you, but like, you got to.
Well, it's a weird combination of one, D recruiting a guy like Rodney Gardner used to talk about that all the time when he was a D-line coach at Auburn. Now he's at Tennessee. You recruit a kid so hard, and when you're recruiting a kid, you're upping him. You're telling him he's amazing. You're telling him this. You're telling him that. Well, when they get to campus, you got to de-recruit that kid and be like, hey, bro, you got to work still. Like, we liked your film. Like, we think you're a good player, but we aren't going to give you anything. And like, there are cases where coaches have made bad decisions and not played the right player. But can we all agree that 95% of the time, this is a business. Coaches are not keeping the better players on the bench. If you're not playing, at the end of the day, you're probably not the best player at that position.
I mean, you can't, like, all 4 of us right now, and you could ask probably, I would say 95% of America will agree. If you're the head coach of a football team, regardless of whatever emotions are involved, you're going to play your best players. I don't care if he's a freshman who's 6'9", 290. At DN, he runs a 4.4, and the upper class senior is 6'3", 210, and he moves like a spaghetti noodle. I'm going with the best players that give me the chance as a coach to put a win in my coaching tenure. And everybody's going to do that because you want to win. And if you want to just go with, oh, well, he's a loyal junior and, he does everything right, blah, blah, but you have an absolute animal behind him who's a freshman, play the best player, bro. You're here to win. You're not here for a participation trophy. You're not here for I played the good guy card and the parents like me. But if you want to do that, bro, go be a coordinator. Go be a recruiter. If you're a head coach, play what's going to get you a win. 48 minutes of football, when they hang up that last second, if your team is winning on the scoreboard, whatever players you had to play regardless of if it hurts somebody's feelings. That's how you should do it every single time.
I actually agree with Zoe when he said once NIL came into play, you can't look at it and treat them like kids. I agree.
Bingo.
It's
You're
true.
getting paid. You're getting paid.
All right, now Kool-Aid Mckinstry. All right, DB for Alabama, one of the top DBs when he came out. I think he's a projected first round pick. Maybe. Where does he rank amongst the all-time Alabama DB? I actually saw this topic. I didn't even come up with it. I'm interested to hear y'all because I mean you think about Dre Kirkpatrick, Minka, you think about Ha and Eddie and all these legends, Marlon Humphrey. Why is this a question? I'm not putting
Blue. I'm gonna rifle off a list of names.
Where do y'all put Kool-Aid on the all-time family DB list?
When I saw this topic, I was like, "You gotta be kidding me, bro! You gotta for real." I'm gonna rifle off a list of names. Throw a finger up if Kool-Aid is better than any of these guys. Dre Kirkpatrick.
No.
Minka. Jordan Battle. D. Milner. Marlon Humphrey. Eddie Jackson.
Are we talking about overall D. Milner? No, I still win.
No, you wouldn't. No, you wouldn't take.
Man, look, man, the answer is really low. That's where Kool-Aid Mckinstry, that's where he ranks at.
Kool-Aid
Really
Mckinstry,
low on this
He might
list.
not be top 15. Like he
I wouldn't
Yeah.
even say-
might not be top
he's
15.
not top 15. He's not top 15. There's no way.
I mean, I gotta say, this is ridiculous. I went and looked at his stats. All right, so you got a gang of pass deflections, one interception. And I checked out some of his film. He's a little dynamic, but to be top 10 Alabama, like I really expected way more because I didn't follow him that much last year. Seeing him and watching his, I'm like, why is he considered top? But top 10? No, that's like one of the best.
And you have to talk about a team that your head coach specifically works with safeties.
He does.
He specifically works with DBs, not just safeties. He works with corners too, because there's been, obviously, you can see videos of him in practice and everything, but he specializes in safeties, but he's talking to the DBs all the time.
I feel like he gets this attention off of what they wanted him to be.
Yes.
They wanted him to be a lot.
Well,
They wanted him to be a lot. But in reality, we all watched this man get burned multiple times this season. Multiple times. Look at the Texas game.
The Tennessee game where the kid put up 5 touchdowns.
Right. On 5 catches.
Yeah, like I mean,
Texas game. But
yeah, I mean,
exposed.
You like named some good names, but like Anthony Averett, Cyrus Jones, Tony Brown, HaHa Clinton Dix, Landon Collins, Maurice Smith, Ronnie Harrison. I mean, Eddie Jackson, Kareem Jackson. I mean, the list could keep going.
Let me ask.
Like at 15 right now.
Vinny Sinceri?
He's he might be better. Like Vinny had a stupid year that one year in like 2016, but like he was a 1-year wonder. So like that's about where he is. Because I would even put Mark Barron over him.
Mark Barron definitely. Mark Barron was way more versatile than him.
Yeah.
Mark Barron should have just played linebacker from the get-go.
Can I have a hot take? I don't know if right now Kool-Aid's better, but I don't think by the end of the year he's going to be the best DB on their team.
I think Buddy coming in.
Yes, Caleb.
Yes,
Downs.
Yes,
is a
Caleb
better DB than Kool-Aid.
Yeah. Caleb Downs. In 3 years, when we start talking about this, Caleb Downs is going to be a top 5 draft pick, and that's off the rip.
Caleb Downs is already. He's going to be better than Kool-Aid by the end of the year, in my opinion.
That kid, when you watch that kid and you saw him in the All-American game, that kid right there is generational.
Remember, I picked him when we were talking about freshmen that were going to make an immediate impact. That was my second pick behind the kid from Miami.
Right.
You know what? Honestly, Blue, you really might be on to something. Kool-Aid got a lot of dudes like coming for him next year. The transfer from UAB. I forget that dude's name.
He's a dog.
I like him.
He's legit.
I like him.
Yeah.
And let's not forget. I mean, he almost went to prison, but like Tony Mitchell's not a scrub.
No, not at all. Not at all.
And is Malachi Moore still there? Who was like a freshman All-American like 2 years ago?
I don't know. Is he?
Didn't they have because go Blue. You might be able to remember this. Go back to Texas A&M when they had the historic draft class. Who was the safety they got? He was either the number 1 or number 2 safety, and Bama had the one right after him, and he's like in the fold waiting.
I remember. I know who you're talking about.
I need to look up that class. Hang on.
Look up that class right now.
I forgot
was that 21? Was that 21 or 22 class when A&M had the number 1 class and set the record for 247?
That was
because it
was 21, I think. 21 or 22. I'm about to look though.
I don't know why I can't remember his name. The dude that they got, bro. He was waiting in the fold. I know Jordan Battle got so much love and Kool-Aid got all this love, but I'm telling you, you can never sleep on these young boys.
No, hang on. It was 2022, and you said it was a safety.
Yeah, he came in the same year as Travis, right?
He was a 5-star.
I remember that kid, man, from the Under Armour.
He wasn't a safety. He wasn't a safety unless he transferred to Bama.
It wasn't Jaheim Bell because Jaheim Bell went to Georgia, isn't it?
Yeah. Are you talking about Earl Little?
5-star, or was he?
No, Bama didn't land a 5-star DB that year, unless he was an athlete. Hang on.
Who was it in 22?
Oh yeah.
Oh, no, it might have been an athlete.
Oh, hang on. Are you talking about Isaiah Bond or Isaiah Bond, maybe.
I forgot about Isaiah Bond.
Was
And
he
they
in
also
South
had
Florida?
Kendrick Law too.
No, not Kendrick Law. Was Isaiah Bond in South Florida?
Hang on. No, he was in Buford.
Oh,
You
he
must
was
be
in-
thinking about another year because 2022 they didn't have like a big DB come in. Hang on. Because they got Kool-Aid in 2021. Teron Arnold from Tallahassee.
Arnold.
I can't remember this kid's name.
I can't remember this kid's name, but I remember that they had another fire DB that came in, and I was like, bro.
Desmond Ricks from IMG.
Oh, yeah.
He was this
Desmond
past
Ricks.
year.
What
He was
happened to
2022.
That was last year?
Yeah, he's a
And he was a freshman. He was a freshman this year?
Yeah,
Okay, yeah. Desmond Ricks. Sign me up.
yeah, he was a 5-star. He was the number
But
2
that- 'cause he was
cornerback
a-
behind Travis.
Because he
If I'm not
flipped from
mistaken.
LSU, right?
Huh?
Because Desmond Ricks flipped from LSU, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And they also had Jaleel Hurley too from Florence come in, which was like the number 1 corner in the state of Alabama that year.
Yeah, nah, he got smoked. He got smoked.
They're always gonna have DBs, bro.
Yeah. All right, so next topic. It's time for your college football playoff prediction next year. How's it looking for y'all? Because y'all ain't gonna like my answer.
If Oregon comes out of your mouth, we're
Oregon is
ending the
coming
show.
out of my mouth, Blue.
Oh my god.
Oregon is coming out of my mouth. We got Bo Nix. First of all, if we see USC, it's up. Utah, it's up.
It's
I don't
up.
care, bro. We're going to the playoffs this year, led by Bo Nix, who also might win the Heisman. Matter of fact, he will win the Heisman. Hot take. I don't care.
Hey,
Bo
listen,
Nix
for
will
all the
win
viewers, you go ahead and write that take down. Kobe said Bo Nix winning the Heisman.
Bo Nix will win the Heisman.
No, y'all are gonna have to drive to Mobile and check on me like mentally if that happens.
All right, I'm going quick. I'll make this nice, short, sweet, and simple. Michigan, Georgia, USC, Clemson. Bold take on Clemson.
Whoa.
Ooh,
Bold
Clemson.
take on Clemson. I think Clemson goes to the ACC, dog walks these boys. Kate Klubnik gets it together, and that defense is going to be stupid next year.
Okay. Kelly, what is looking like?
Oh man, I've been thinking about this since I put in the chat. Okay, so let's go. USC. They're gonna go ahead and stomp out Oregon and Washington. It's over for them. All right, and then give me Michigan.
You entitled to your okay. All right.
Shout out to Caleb Williams, man. And then I'll give it to Michigan. Give Michigan a spot in there. I'll give UGA a spot, and then this 4th spot. I kind of just feel like it's gonna be another SEC team to keep it real. So I guess throw Bama in there and make Saban happy. You know.
I got that must be a hot take because I also got an SEC team in there. I got Georgia, Michigan, USC at 3, and I got LSU at 4.
Ooh,
I think
Jaden
LSU
Daniels.
Yeah, bro, LSU returns so much talent. I think LSU might go 11, might go 12-1. Only lost to Georgia in the SEC championship. They still get in.
Blue, you got a thermometer handy?
What's
You're
up?
You're going with one of the Kelly boys, the head coach, dog.
Bro, like you're acting like he
Come
can't
on,
get them
bro.
there. He's not gonna win the championship, but like
Hey,
he'll
yo.
get them to the dance.
No, man.
He's been there before.
I'll take App State over LSU.
Oh my
Nah, you crazy. That's crazy.
That was crazy. That was left field. I'm just tripping.
We're not in the 12 team yet. We're not in the 12 team. We'll get in the 12 team, then we can talk about that.
Hold on. This is no. We have a small, not an argument in the comments, but we have somebody, Mr. Sir Retro, talking about Bama is definitely DBU. We can talk about that topic next year. I mean, well, not next year, but next episode.
Bama. I mean, let's if y'all want to.
Nah, bro. Listen, I gotta bring facts and stats because that's outrageous.
No, if you want to go rings, if you want to go like Blue said, if you want to go like facts, stats, everything over a certain 10-year period, regardless of what they did in the NFL or not. No.
We're sleeping on LSU in that. Like,
you're sleeping on LSU. You're sleeping on Ohio State.
Florida could be
Florida,
someone in
Florida.
that conversation.
Florida, LSU, Ohio State, Bama. And
Bro,
honestly, very bold take over the last probably 10 years, Washington.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would say
Well,
that's
let's
my
not
top
forget-
5 since 2010.
Let's not forget, didn't LSU on that 2019 national championship team? Everyone talks about the wide receivers and Joe Burrow. They had like 8 DBs that are in the NFL right now off that team that weren't even starting.
What they had
Whoa.
aside from Stingley,
Because Cordell Flott, Grant Delpit was still there. Derek
Grant.
Stingley. Who was the other? Who was the kid on the other side? I mean, dude, they had at least 4 or 5
They
DBs
did.
go to the NFL from that team.
Hey Zoe, that's later. That's later. We gonna get to
South
that.
Carolina?
We gonna get
Man,
to that.
listen,
We
y'all
gonna,
are so big on this Beamer ball, dog.
yes, Beamer
I
ball.
mean-
You listen. If you from South Carolina, whether you like either of those teams or not, either you mess with Clemson or you mess with South Carolina. I hate Clemson. Okay. Matter of fact, I remember I applied to Clemson just because my academic advisor told me to do it. Okay. I get the call from the lady at the Clemson office. All I heard was that country accent. I said, absolutely not. I don't like Clemson, bro. So yes, they will lose to the Gamecocks. Again, I hate that gaudy orange. I hate everything about Clemson. They will lose to the Gamecocks again. But I was gonna say that for later, but I just had to get it out now.
Is that an overreaction, underreaction for today?
That is.
Facts.
No, man, come
That's an
on,
overreaction. I'm just gonna throw that out there.
Okay. No, we'll get to it. We'll get to it. All right, now let's talk about upsets though. Which upset is most likely to happen next season? App State versus UNC. Remember, App State almost pulled it off at home. To me, it's still the quarterback's fault. Okay, that game should have went to that App State should have took it. Okay, you just got to put the ball in the quarterback's vicinity. That man shouldn't have had to dive backwards to get it. But App State, UNC, Notre Dame over USC, Colorado over TCU, or Miami over Florida State.
There's only one on here that's actually going to happen. The other ones are going to play out as we all expect. App State has the ability to beat UNC. Notre Dame is not beating USC. Colorado is not beating TCU. And FSU is going to dog walk Miami. Dog walk Miami.
I think one will happen, and one. Listen, I know. It has upset potential. Like it gives me goosebumps because I can see it. Now I'll explain it. App State over UNC. App State. How many times have we talked about this on this show? They are the scariest group of 5 team to play in the history of college football, bro. If I see the Mountaineers come out in them all black uniforms, bro, I'm headed back to the locker room as a Power 5 team.
Watch your back.
Yeah, like they just listen. App State is just that kind of team. Like, listen, they're going to beat UNC because it's just going to happen. It has to happen. I mean,
it has to happen. Yeah,
I will say, with the history of Lincoln Riley choking against good defensive coaches, with Notre Dame reloading at quarterback, Sam Hartman is a tenfold upgrade over the kid they had last year, and they just landed like a top 5 recruiting class. Notre Dame is going to push USC deep into that game, and if that upset happens, it will not surprise me.
Give me USC by 21.
That's honestly that was the one where I looked at twice just because I'm like, USC never has to worry about them, but like maybe this year this is one of those years. Definitely one of the ones I got on this list though is Lane Kiffin and Ole Miss beating LSU. I think if Spencer Sanders is the guy, I think they have a chance, man. It's something about Lane Kiffin and what he does throughout the course of a season where he pulls out some wins they really was not supposed to. And maybe this is one of them. And another game I'm looking at, because it's early in the season, is Colorado over possibly TCU. This is such an early point in the season. We got a TCU team that's going to be replacing a lot of key players offensively. Maybe they aren't clicking early in the season. Now, the biggest question is always going to be Colorado's O-line, D-line, whatever, but I could see it, though.
Okay.
All
right.
Nah, I love that you gave me the energy, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Just so we can make the record clear. South Carolina's not beating Clemson next year, though.
Yes, they are, bro.
Bro, y'all caught Clemson. They caught Clemson. Listen, they caught Clemson on a down year when these boys had no clue what the quarterback was going to be. You're telling me right now that with the returning talent that Clemson has, bringing in this recruiting class, and you're going to put all the faith in Spencer Rattler?
I am.
Come on, dog.
I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I might be disappointed, but I'm going to do it.
I'll go gentleman's bet, no monetary value. I'll bet you lunch.
He said no monetary value.
Gentlemen's bet, no monetary value because we're not gambling on a live podcast. I'll bet you lunch. You name the spot. Don't matter if it's Ruth Chris. Don't matter if it's Pink House in Savannah. Don't matter what it is. If Clemson loses to South Carolina, I owe you whatever lunch you want.
Clay, take bet. It's on the internet, so we locked in.
It's on the internet. We got receipts.
All right.
Hey, and look, so I'm not a believer in Ole Miss by any rate. Okay, this was based on pure matchup. This is not based on how good Ole Miss is going to do this year. I'm not sure, but in one game on one Saturday night, they have a chance.
Can I throw like a one that would be a major upset out there?
Yeah.
Give me William and Mary over Virginia.
Whoa. No, you know what? No, I get that. Honestly.
It's a middle of the season game. I want to say I'm looking it up here. Is October 7th is that game. Right after Virginia beforehand has to play all their conference games. They open up with Tennessee. They could be reeling at that point. They're not a very good team. William and Mary is one of the best teams in the FCS. And also Mike London coached at Virginia. As a revenge game for him, and they return a lot of talent. William and Mary, they won their FBS game last year by 20 points. They're gonna be coming for Virginia this year.
Yeah, this one's going on record. I'm going off the rocker on this one. Off the rocker. Y'all are both, all three of y'all gonna laugh. We gonna beat LSU this year.
No, bro, kick him off the stream. Kobe, kick him off the stream. He's done for the night.
You ready? You ready? You wanna know why? It's going to be the game where Etienne and Montrell Johnson cannot be stopped. And I'm saying that off the rocker, wild take.
Harold Perkins is going to grab them boys and toss them into the second row.
Those of you watching who do not know, Clay is a Florida fan. And
14 episodes, the wildest take I've ever had. I'm telling you right now, Montrell Johnson and Etienne, if they're both healthy playing that game, we're going to run all over those boys.
This game has to be in the swamp.
Yeah, it better be. If it's in Death Valley, bro, I'm telling Harold Perkins is tossing them in the second row. It's not
Harold
happening.
Perkins, my God.
Harold Perkins flirted with Florida for a minute. We got something for him.
Now, like I will say, if we're picking like realistic like SEC upsets, like I'm serious. Like this isn't even me being a homer. Auburn's going to beat Ole Miss at home this year in Hugh Freeze's revenge game. Everyone here knows how hard it is. Everyone knows how hard it is to play in Jordan Hare at night in October. Hugh Freeze is going to go in that locker room and be like, "They fired me for calling on my prostitutes." Bro, we're putting 50 on them.
Hey, if y'all didn't know, the last two takes that we just had, me and Zach was actually at the bar about an hour ago. And we were thinking about some wild shit to say, but whatever.
Mine is not as extreme as yours. I have us beating an average SEC team at home. You had your team going to Death Valley and beating a top 5 team on the country.
Bro, we talked about this last week. I'm telling you, when it comes to SEC rivalry games, I don't care about the ranking. It don't matter.
Y'all are starting Graham Mertz.
Time and time again. We gonna win 4 games, but guess what? One of them gonna be LSU.
No. Y'all might squeak past Utah if you're lucky.
Oh, stop it.
All right. It's time for us to end the show on overreaction. Not an overreaction. Some of y'all probably new here. Y'all know we do overreaction, not an overreaction. When I say something, you just say whether it's an overreaction or not an overreaction. It's pretty simple. And no, I did not go to On 3, which, by the way, I'm not going to say parts about On 3 because I'm not giving them that free promo. I'm just not going to do it.
Kirby, ready? Thank you guys for joining the Blitz City podcast, where Overreaction, Underreaction is sponsored by On 3 Sports.
All right, overreaction, not overreaction. All right, Jackson. Oh, no, that's an old one. All right, let me see.
I was like, I feel like we talked about that last week. Like,
any running back in the Big Ten would be the best running back in the conference behind Michigan's O-line.
Any?
Overreaction.
Like, basically discredited Blake Corum because he has a great O-line.
They won't be Blake Corum, but they'd be good. So I feel like that's an overreaction because they wouldn't be Blake Corum. But I think they could run for like 600-700 yards? Probably. Like I might be able to hit 5.
Put me behind. Hey, put me at a solid 165 behind Georgia's O line. I'm getting 500 yards, bro.
Yeah, but the best is like 1,200. I think super overreaction. First of all, we saw Michigan without Blake Corum, and it definitely wasn't the best running back in the Big Ten.
No way. That's an overreaction.
All right. Overreaction, not an overreaction. Wins against FCS programs should not count towards bowl eligibility.
Overreaction.
Because them L's definitely count.
Yeah,
The L's count.
overreaction.
Absolutely.
All right, man. Overreaction, not over. The Sun Belt is the best Group of 5 conference in the FBS in college football currently.
Perfect. Especially after Cincinnati and UCF left the AAC.
Right.
It's the Sun Belt and everyone else.
Yeah, we
you
can go
got
with
what?
that.
You got App State, Coastal Carolina, Louisiana Lafayette. I mean, just those 3 have all made like New Year's 6 appearances.
Goodness.
Yeah.
Super strong.
And James
Definitely
Madison's
not
in there now. And James Madison was bowl eligible last year in their first season at Group of 5, but the NCAA's transition rule screwed them.
Yep.
Why is that rule in place? Oh, I never liked it.
So, like, I did a whole report on it. So apparently, it's to like ensure they can maintain like the standards of like whatever, you know, like if you move from D3 to D2, D2 to D, like you have to maintain those new standards for like 5 years to like prove the NCAA you belong, which I think is stupid because like if you're gonna allow someone to jump, that probably means they were like no one's failing where they are and moving up to like struggle even more. So like it's a dumb rule, but I even forgot you still got Troy in there too, who has knocked off LSU within the past 5 years. If I'm not mistaken, did UAB just move to the Sun Belt?
I believe so. Marshall,
so
Georgia
that's
Southern.
a dog team. Marshall just knocked off Notre Dame last year.
Oh, we got a hot comment.
What? Let me see.
We got
The
Joe
Kentucky's
saying
going to beat Florida.
Jackson State's beating Texas State.
Hey, Zoe, give me that. Give me that take. For real. Give me that take. I'm taking it.
Okay.
Like I say, this is a big boy game. That's going to be a big boy game. That Texas State, they have been recruiting, really recruiting, and I believe in Jackson. I think they're a good team. But this is a big boy game. Time to put your big boy pants on, go neck, you know what I mean, head to head, stay in the ring, take the body shots. We're gonna see what Jackson State's made of.
I will say, going round 2 with TJ Finley.
Yeah, like there's no way I'm picking JSU to win right now. Like, bro, I can't disrespect my guy Kenny like that. There's just not happening. But I will say, Jackson's got to be competitive in that game. I mean, because let's just be honest. Like, I know this is FBS Friday, but like, let's all be completely honest here. The SWAC is hanging their hat on Jackson State. The SWAC has been taking haymakers since 1985 in FBS games, and we're like and however many. Like, Grambling is the last team to win one. It was like Oregon State in like 85 or 86. Like, the SWAC needs this. And do you know how much air would be taken out of the conference if Jackson goes in there and gets boat raced?
Oh, goodness.
You gotta like they either have to win or it's got to be super competitive like that ULM game was 2 years ago. Like that is it. That's the only 2 options because the SWAC needs Jackson to put on for the conference in that one because I don't see anyone else in the SWAC giving anyone else at the FBS a run for their money next year.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the last one, we talked about it earlier. The Gamecocks are gonna be. We don't even need to answer for that. The Gamecocks are gonna be winning again. They were able to go into the house and do it. Why wouldn't they do it in Columbia? With that, first of all, if that game's at night, you got that light show going. Please, man. Who's the Sandstorm, man? You're not.
Like, I got a real question for you guys. Can y'all name the last coach to beat Dabo Swinney 2 times in a row?
It don't matter.
Spurrier.
It's gonna happen now. I can say Shane Spurrier now. It's gonna happen now.
It's been a long time, bro. If K Klubnik is everything we all think he is, bro, it's gonna be.
Listen, I'm telling you right now. Listen, I'm gonna end this whole debate. I'm telling you right now. Listen. We all saw Spencer Rattler come in hot. Everything was great and dandy. We saw a down year Clemson. I'm telling you right now, listen, what have you seen after they come off of a freshman quarterback? What does that freshman quarterback do sophomore year now? Come on. Let's all be honest now.
Do y'all really trust Spencer Rattler that much?
Now,
Am I missing something?
Either Cade is him or he's not. But I'm telling you right now, that Clemson defense is going to be better than they were last year.
I'm gonna go with
I'm just not that sold.
Clemson by a minimum of 10.
You're not that sold on the Gamecocks, Kelly?
I'm not sold on Clemson. It's really after seeing what Clemson did last year. It's like, is this look, Clay? You put them in the Final Four college football, the college football playoff. You know, I'm just kind of not seeing it. I'm not seeing it.
I didn't do that. I'm not that high on them, but
their hardest test next year is FSU.
I agree with that.
Their hardest test.
I can see that. I can see that. But give me the Beamer boys. I'm a Beamer boy. Give me South Carolina. Give me Spencer Rattler. I trust the growth
for the win, baby.
Bro, it's crazy. Like the population of Beamer boys that's growing like year in year out. Like either I missed the boat or I don't know what it is. But I'm not big on Beamer.
Jordan, I forgot about that game. That's a second game that the Sweat can hang its hat on, but Jackson's got a better chance of beating Texas State than I think you guys have of beating South Florida. But that will be a good game. Y'all do have a chance. So those are the only two because I'm trying to think any other y'all, Kobe, Kelly. Like I don't think any of us is picking Texas Southern to beat anyone. Grambling plays LSU. There's no chance in hell with that one. Southern plays 19 Division II NAIA schools. They're not playing anybody. A&M plays. Who do they play? It's not UAB this year. It's
they play SMU.
Oh, they're getting boat raced.
That's
Alabama State. Alabama State doesn't play any. Like they got the 2 D2 schools, so they got Tuskegee and Miles. They might lose to Miles. They almost did last year, so we'll move them off the schedule. So it's like no one else is. Bethune's not beating anyone. Valley's not getting an FBS upset. I don't think Alcorn's going to beat Southern Miss. UAPB is not good. PV, I don't know who PV plays FBS out of conference, but I don't. A&M's getting boat raced by Vandy. That's who they play. It's Vandy, and Vandy's going to beat A&M to death.
Oh, my bad. I thought you were talking about PV. PV plays SMU, not Alabama.
Okay, I don't see PV beating SMU.
I was about to say, hold on. I said, which A&M is we talking about?
No, the MEAC, Alabama A&M. I don't think. I heard A&M. Texas A&M could lose to Vandy, though. I will say. We'll see.
Them boys are in shambles. So, totally random, but Ski Mask Hall of Fame, Dennis Schroeder just got a 2-year, $24 million deal.
From who?
That's crazy.
I do like that what Zoe got going on though.
Toronto.
I like that.
Toronto,
ULM and USM.
That's
nice.
The Ski Mask Hall of Fame. $24 million for 2 years. This boy he finessed the Raptors.
Hey, the Lakers got Gabe Vincent. He had that one good finals and LeBron said, "Go get him."
And they also just paid Rui $51 million.
I don't want to talk about the Lakers, man. They disappointed.
Listen,
I gotta check this out.
Hey,
we talk about college football, man. We can't even get into basketball right now.
Yeah. That's all the topics we have tonight, man, for FBS Fridays. Y'all heard a lot of hot takes tonight that are going to be saved in the vault.
Kobe said before we hang up the live, Kobe said Bo Nix is winning the Heisman and going to the playoffs.
He is.
He said going to the national title. So
let's go back down here. Let's go back down.
Right. Hey, listen, everybody right now, get out your pen and paper.
We will beat USC. We are gonna beat USC. Okay, and we're going to the playoffs.
Kelly, please tell this man. Please tell this man.
Look, worry about Washington first. And you know, if you get past those guys, Michael Penix, you know, the 2 1,000-yard plus receivers, then I'll believe. I'll keep it beat. Then I'll believe.
Kobe, but hold on. Before we hang it up, go through the schedule real quick.
What is our schedule? Let me see.
I got you. Hang on.
Let's go through the schedule real quick.
Let's go through it. Let's go through it.
Hey, I'm pulling it up.
Hey, bro, listen. I would love to be wrong because I'm happy for you, bro. Because that don't got
I'm not.
I'm in the SEC with Blue. It don't got nothing to do with me. I'd be happy.
Talking about last season, I think the biggest upset was App State at Texas A&M, if I'm not mistaken.
No, Marshall Notre Dame was up there too.
What about Georgia Southern and Nebraska?
Mm-hmm.
That's up there. I'm trying to think. That would probably be. I'm assuming that'd be the biggest.
I say biggest upset last year had to Had to have been that App State game for sure.
Yeah,
App State or
Texas
Marshall.
A&M. Yeah.
App State or Marshall had to have gotten that one.
But Oregon's schedule, they got Portland State week 1.
Win.
That's a loss.
Win.
Texas Tech week 2 in
Win.
Lubbock.
Uh-oh.
You better watch out.
Uh-oh.
Hawaii week 3.
Win.
That's
3-0.
Colorado week 4.
Come on, Dub.
That's
Stanford.
upset. Stanford?
That's a dub.
Oh, Stanford.
That's a dub.
Come on, man.
That's a dub.
Brainiac.
Stanford's a dub.
Ooh, Washington in Washington.
We're going to win
That's
that.
a loss. That's a loss.
Washington State.
We're going to win that.
5-1.
Washington State.
We're going to beat what? I'm not scared of Cam.
I believe in Cam Ward.
Cam Ward.
Yo, wow.
Cam Ward.
Wow, bro.
This next one's definitely a L. Utah on the road in Salt Lake.
Did we not beat Utah last year? You know what?
In Eugene. Yes, in
You know what?
Eugene.
You know what?
Remember when they beat y'all twice 2 years ago and boat raced y'all?
Hey, that was the past, bro. That was before.
And then y'all got Cal.
Dub.
Yeah.
Then you got
dub.
USC.
We will win that. Okay, y'all gonna see, bro.
And
Y'all
then
gonna see.
here's the trap game. Let's not forget, how many times has Oregon been in a position for the championship and went to Tempe to face Arizona State late in the season and caught that 11:45 p.m. Eastern Time L?
A lot of times.
That's tough.
Boys, hey, yo,
And then y'all
hey,
close
them boys
out
are
Oregon
catching
State, of course.
Hey, that's a red-eye flight to a loss.
Yeah, that's a tough schedule for a team that's playing in a conference with no divisions. Like, that's a tough schedule. You guys played all the big guys.
Yeah, y'all got Washington State, Colorado, USC. Y'all have to travel to your biggest like thorn in your side at Arizona State. And now
Right.
Oregon State actually isn't a trash can.
In
Right.
Bo, I trust, man.
So Zoe said the biggest upset this year. Like, what would be our prediction for the biggest upset this season?
For some
Oh,
reason,
for 2023.
I don't know why
I'm looking through the schedule now to try to see.
something crazy and random. For some reason, after how many points they were averaging last year, I feel like Kansas has some kind of upset in them, but I don't know how big of an upset it's going to be.
Is that going to be an upset? Because Kansas is probably going to be preseason top 25 or close
Are
to
they?
it.
Okay.
No, I don't think
Or
they're
close
top
to
25.
it.
I don't think
They
they're top
were
20.
like 8
They might be top,
last year.
They might be top 30.
And Jaden, and isn't Daniels coming back?
Daniels is coming back.
Yeah, they were like almost top 10 last year when he was healthy. They're going to be right there about 20 to like probably like 28.
Okay.
I like that. That's cool.
Okay, here's a hot take. Tulane over Ole Miss.
I mean, come
Without Todd Spears, though.
Bro, they bring that quarterback back, which was
Man, come
even
on,
a bigger
dog.
part of that offense.
True.
Willie
Right.
Fritz ended up coming back. Tulane over, and Ole Miss is only a 7.5 point favorite at home over Tulane.
I like Auburn. I like Auburn over Ole Miss more, honestly. And
Well, I'm
that's
just
not
looking
calling
at
them
it.
out as like I
I'm saying-
scroll through.
With
I'm saying
Anthony-
the card could align.
I'm looking at Coastal Carolina at UCLA September 2nd. It's an early one. UCLA doesn't even have a quarterback yet.
Oh yeah. Oh great. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Give me Grayson with
Might be
that.
one.
He said, "Give me Grayson."
Give me
Hey,
Grayson.
bro. At this
Might be.
point, we're on episode 14. At this point, I'm under the impression Grayson McCall is Zach's like third cousin.
He might be.
I'm dead serious, bro. He pulled up to a family reunion. Grayson McCall gonna be there eating a plate of beans. I promise to you.
Bro, he is like, I just think people get slept, like people sleep on how good he
Slept
is.
on that man, bro.
No, he is nice. He's definitely nice.
Okay, question. While me and Kelly keep looking for upsets, how much of a chance do y'all give South Florida to beat Bama at home? Like they host Bama this year down at whatever their stadium's called
Raymond
in
James
Tampa.
Stadium.
Yeah, like
It's-
Bama
yeah.
travels to South Florida this year to face UCF or USF. My
30.
bad.
Oh,
That's a 30
UCF.
No, USF.
That's
Oh,
a 30
Oh,
piece.
South Florida.
Yeah.
That's a 30-piece minimum.
yeah, nah. I don't get him.
No, I'm not picking the upset. I was just asking because like we never see Bama
That's a-
play real road games.
Yeah,
Nah, that's
I'm
weird
not
to me.
I'm not giving that shot.
They must have scheduled that in 2010 or something.
Yeah,
I just forgot
UCF,
about
I
it.
would have been like, hey,
Bama sent off that money and forgot about it. I promise you.
I'm trying to think, man. There's now, okay, UCF traveling to K-State when they just lost Deuce Vaughn and a bunch of those pieces.
K-State beats them.
UCF is
We're talking about potential upsets. Like, look at, like, I could see that one. That one could be far-fetched.
There's definitely a chance there is not far-fetched, but I just think for a little bit, Kansas State was playing Bama kind of hard, huh?
Didn't UCF land Stacey Gage, like that 4-star running back?
Yes.
Yeah, no, I like UCF.
I'm looking at this FCS, FBS, North Dakota at Boise State, September 16th. It's interesting right there.
North Dakota State or North Dakota?
North Dakota.
Ooh, I don't know about that one.
No?
Maybe.
It's kind of tough, man.
Some FCS over FBS, like I could talk those. I'm just trying to think of like FBS upsets, like Zoe.
I see a couple of close ones. I'm like looking at Arizona at Mississippi State. I'm like, both teams are pretty close anyway.
There's always going to be conference upsets too. Like that's the hard thing to predict. Like someone's going to catch somebody, especially in like the Pac-12.
Yeah,
always
bloodbath.
Ain't gonna be us though.
Maybe. That Arizona State game terrifies me for you.
It does. It terrifies me too. I have flashbacks. I have flashbacks about that game.
We have a chat. We have a comment in the chat saying Ole Miss is gonna lose 4 games. Y'all think they're losing 4 games?
Zoe don't like Ole Miss, man. You know, Zoe don't like
losing
Ole
4
Miss.
games.
Yes.
Okay.
I
gotta
think
take the
Ole Miss is
schedule.
going to be very good this year. I really don't think Ole Miss is going to be as good as people think this year.
Kentucky
They got 2
over
losses for sure. They're losing to Bama and they're losing to LSU. Like that's guaranteed. Like the best they could do is 10-2. And I already think they're going to lose to Auburn. So that's at least 9-3. They're going to lose another game or 2 somewhere.
Check this.
We gonna
Clay,
beat them
man.
boys in Kroger Field. Stop playing with me.
Clay, man, your boys losing to Kentucky.
We gonna beat them boys in Kroger Field. It ain't no problem. Ain't no problem. We got listen. We got Publix down in Florida. Them boys got Kroger out there. You ain't never heard of nobody talking about no Kroger sub.
You see, Zoe took my pick. He got Ole Miss losing to Tulane, Bama, LSU, and Mississippi State. I'm assuming that's what he means by that. So I'm adding Auburn to that. So that's 7-5.
Ooh.
I don't know if they're going to lose Mississippi State, though. Like, I don't know what that team's going to look like without Leach. I got to see what they look like year one.
I'm not confident without Leach in that year one. You know, but maybe who knows? Did come out inspired by him.
Ole Miss has a really tough stretch at the end of September. It's like you were saying, Blue. They go to Alabama, then LSU, play Arkansas, Mississippi. And Auburn. That's tough.
That's tough.
That's a brutal schedule.
Yeah, 4 losses for sure.
4 losses for sure.
Oh, James Madison over Virginia.
Oh,
Now, see, I just picked William and Mary over Virginia, so that's doubled up on that one. Like, if you're looking at, like, hang on, I got to find, like, the straight, like, FCS, like, versus FBS schedule for 2023. That way I don't have to, like, scroll through, like, this.
I'll take James Madison over Virginia for sure.
All right, hang on. So I just found the FCS versus FBS game, like, rundown for this year. Bryant at UNLV is going to be interesting because UNLV is just garbage. I mean, they're atrocious. UIW at UTEP. I could see that one because UTEP is trash.
Do we get excited over that though? It's like
now I will say I'm interested in. I don't think they're going to win it just because I don't know if they're as good. But like last year, William and Mary beat Charlotte by 20. South Carolina State faces Charlotte this year. Yeah. Can they at least make it competitive?
Depends on Corey. Really depends on Corey.
I like SC State over Charlotte.
I mean, South Carolina State did good in the first half versus South Florida last year. You know, the defensive line looked good, and then like special teams start falling apart and stuff. So I can see it just stay in the game.
I'm going biased because they got one of my dogs from Bluffton.
Oh, Jalen?
Rakeem.
Rakeem. Okay, yeah, I forgot Rakeem. We got like 3 people from Bluffton. That's why I was.
There's some like really.
I got one of my dogs at South Alabama, and I like him against a lot of people. Honestly, low key, he was slept on.
Southeastern Louisiana versus South Alabama is going to be an interesting FBS game.
Okay, I like that. I like that, man.
Keep notes on him if he ends up getting a lot of playtime because he had to transfer from JUCO. But Shamar Webster,
where's he at?
South Alabama. He was from Bluffton.
There's some tough games on here. Jesus Christ. I was like, I'm thinking picking like 9, but I'm like running through them like, whew. There better be some upsets or it can be some absolute beatdowns. I know our guy Josh thinks Central's beating UCLA, but I don't know if I can ride with them on that yet.
Ooh. That's gonna be a bloodbath.
Another one. What do we think? What do we think about? We got Penn State, Notre Dame this year, and Notre Dame.
You know what though?
Is it Notre Dame or is it in Penn State?
Oh, I have no idea.
I like Penn State.
I can see Andrew Body. I
like Penn State over Notre Dame. For some reason, I don't think Notre Dame's gonna be nice next year.
Dude, Kobe, what you about to say, man? What you about to say, man? With Andrew Body on me, what you about to say?
I can see Andrew Body having a good performance versus Toledo.
Yeah, I can see that. I don't know if that team. I don't know if that team's good enough to win it though. No. That's the problem.
Right.
Holy Cross at Army is one that I could see being upset. Holy Cross has beaten 2 straight FBS teams, and I don't think Army's never. I don't think they're unbeatable. Anybody playing UMass, I'm picking. Mary Mac's gonna beat UMass. UMass is so bad.
Yeah, definitely. Low hanging fruit.
Oh yeah, Zoe went back. I think he's watching from the beginning because like he's on the highlights. Tavon Austin gotta be. Come on, Zoe.
Wait, hang on. Does Zoe not hear the like 2010?
Yeah, we talking about 2010, Zoe.
I'm about to say Percy. Listen, Percy had him a highlight reel. I don't know if it was as good as Tavon Austin. It might be better, maybe, but it might not be.
Because if we go all time, like you got to throw Randy Moss.
Percy not better than Tavon?
No, his highlight tape ain't better than Tavon.
Mm-hmm. No, you talk like everything, special teams, all of it.
Just the from a human highlight perspective, it ain't better than Tavon's. Like Tavon Austin has the best highlight tape.
It was like produced the best. Like Tavon Austin's was produced. It was 10 minutes long. It has like titles. It has all his awards, accolades. Like if Percy Harvard could have something like that, maybe we gotta, talk about it. But the fact he got a 10-minute long highlight tape for like a 3-year career with game highlights
of him versus Oklahoma that night. Who's topping
Let's get to that.
True.
Yeah, because if we could go all time, that opens up like a whole camp. Because you can include Devin Hester in Miami. You can include Randy Moss when he was at Marshall. I mean, he says Steve McNair. Like the list would be like we could spend all day. Like Dion at Florida State. There's so many people you could throw in there. I mean, it would be ridiculous.
I'm going out on the hill again. I'm telling you, Mike Vick, Virginia Tech.
Oh yeah, no, that he'd be in the conversation if we extended it all time. Like
Sean Taylor.
Yep.
You know what? That's probably a topic for next week. As far as if we go backwards for the human highlight reel.
Human highlight reel, like who you think of as like a human highlight reel?
We can do the 90s and the 80s and the 70s. We can do all of them. It don't matter to me. It's so many highlights, man. That's crazy.
Yeah, because then you could include Herschel Walker and Bo Jackson in the conversation. I mean, it would get stupid.
God. Bo Jackson's highlights.
Matter of fact, we could really sit there and have that debate next week on Bo Jackson and Herschel.
Might be early, but I don't know, man. That's tough, man. Herschel Walker was a dog, but Bo Jackson was another breed.
Because if he doesn't get hurt, I mean, we're having
no telling.
Because he was on pace. Like college is super close, But if Bo doesn't get hurt, professional conversation like isn't even close.
If he doesn't get hurt and he only plays one sport.
Yeah, well, he was on track to be probably Hall of Fame in both if he just kept going.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Well, no,
Tough.
I would include Eric Dickerson, but he was like sharing carries with the other guy who was a part of that Pony Express, right?
Yeah,
The white guy.
Oh
I forgot his
God.
name, but he was pretty good.
No, Eric Dickerson, and then buddy that went to play for Buffalo.
Yeah, I can't remember his name. He's an announcer now.
Eric
He's on
Dickerson and SMU's backfield. Eric Dickerson
Craig
and,
James. Craig James. Yeah,
yeah.
he's in the chat. What about Tommy Frazier too at Nebraska and a triple option offenses?
Oh,
God, he was killing people.
oh,
It's
good.
tough.
hey, might not be a highlight, like a human highlight reel or like human joystick or anything. But what about the career for Monty Ball at Wisconsin?
I respect.
Bro, this man
it.
scored 100 touchdowns in his career.
And the crazy part is he's probably not even the GOAT. Like they would probably still give it to like
Melvin.
what's his name?
Melvin.
No, not even Melvin. Because
What, James White?
No, not him. Because
Melvin holds the record for most rushing yards in a single game now.
Who was the dude that was in hot? He was like in the way early 2000s. I forgot his name. But then you also got Jonathan Taylor there too.
Oh, true.
Ooh. John Taylor was a dog in college.
Oh, they got some bags.
Ron Dane. Ron Dane's the name. Like Charles just put in the chat.
Mm.
Ron Dane is in that conversation too. Like Wisconsin has a real argument for running back U.
There's a lot. I mean,
They
yeah,
do have a real,
that's true.
Honestly.
Damn, Oklahoma, Georgia,
Auburn's in there.
Auburn, Bama,
Oregon.
No.
A lot of Oregon.
Yo,
games,
y'all
bro.
gonna stop doing that, bro.
You trying to throw LeGarrette Blunt in there?
hey, non-biased,
He's in the
non-biased,
MMA
but,
tournament.
non-biased, but you might have to make a case for Florida.
Yeah, no, because Chris Rainey and Jeff Dent.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, not only them. I'm talking about Emmitt Smith, Fred Taylor.
Mhm.
Add in a couple other guys after the fact.
Yeah, they got them.
P. Ron
sure.
is doing his thing. Like, I mean, you got to put him in the conversation,
Yeah.
even though he's more recent.
Jordan Scarlett really didn't do nothing.
No, I don't think you include him. Like Oregon, like if you had to pick a new age RBU, they'd be in the conversation. But I just don't think Oregon has produced enough historically to be in that conversation.
No way. Derrick Rose just signed with the
That's
Grizzlies.
fair. That's fair.
Because like Oregon doesn't have
Right.
anyone in like the
No.
70s, 80s, 90s that really sticks out. It's all like 2000, like
Yeah,
8 and up.
that is okay, that's fair.
Monte P. Ryan broke the record
Right.
for the most rushing yards in one
Yeah.
game.
Yeah, he put up like I forgot what his exact stat line was, but I mean I forgot who it was against too. But he just went dumb.
Because I know that the record used to be Daniel Tomlinson at TCU for what, like 409 or something like that.
I'm about to look up that P-Ron record.
I know Melvin
Forget
Gordon
about
ran for
Samaje.
almost 500.
Bro, so P-Ron ran for 427 yards in a game.
That's ridiculous, dude.
What was
Bro,
Melvin Gordon?
Yeah,
How
no,
is that possible?
he broke Melvin Gordon's record the week after.
By how many yards?
He ran for 427 over and Melvin had 408.
Like, were you not stacking the box at all? Like, what was happening?
Bro, it was against Kansas. He ran for let's see, what would I say? He carried the ball 34 times for 427 yards and had 5 touchdowns.
Oh goodness.
That's crazy. Shit, I remember, this is random, but I remember running back at Hilton Head, Khalil Lewis, shout out to my guy, got pulled at halftime, and right before halftime, they told him, you get one more drive. Man took that thing 75 yards for his 7th touchdown of the half. South Carolina record for most touchdowns in one game is 9. Hey,
Wow.
most touchdowns in one game in South Carolina history is 9. This man had 7 at halftime.
That's
Yeah,
stupid. So I know we've been trying to close down the show for like 30 minutes. I got to ask y'all, what's the best single performance y'all have ever seen in y'all's life? college football wise, like single game performance.
College football wise,
easy.
in person,
Yeah,
in person,
football.
in person,
We'll make it hard. We'll go in person.
in person.
Clowney's 4-sack performance versus Clemson.
Oh,
In depth.
In person.
yeah, in person.
Okay, it's for me. It's got to be 2006 USC versus UCLA. I watched USC demolish UCLA. Watch them demolish them. I watched USC team be super dominating. You know what I mean? I think I got to see Reggie Bush that year too. Super crazy.
All right, this one's gonna be bold. In person, I have 2. Matt James, Jordan Scarlett against Georgia, when we ran for like 400 something yards. Both them boys had over 150 and 2 tuds apiece in Jacksonville, Halloween weekend. And then next to that one, I'll say, just because of how the way the game ended, Brad Stewart in Florida against LSU picked off Joe Burrow to win the game.
Just off the top of my head, like, cause I've seen some good ones. I would there would probably be 2. Leonard Fournette in 2015 against Auburn, that 3 touchdown, like 250 performance where he like threw the dude over his head. Like I remember sitting, I was sitting in Baton Rouge and I wanted to jump off like the stands, like just down the field. Like I didn't, no parachute. I just needed to like free fall down there. The other one, Auburn won the game, but that Jalen Waddle performance in the Iron Bowl where he had 3 receiving touchdowns and returned the punt and the kickoff.
Yeah.
And they ended up losing like 48-45 because of the missed field goal. Like that's the other one. Like, dude, that one was insane.
He did. That was insane, honestly. You know what? I wasn't there, but like I still think about Kenyon Drake's performance in the national championship, returning that kick versus Clemson.
That was big.
Bro.
Oh man.
And both of Deshaun's performances in the Natty, like if we're talking about ones we weren't there for, both those years Clemson went to the Natty. Deshaun Watson, I mean,
the helicopter
I've
hit
never
is gonna
seen
live
that.
down forever.
Never seen someone just take over a game, especially against the Bama defense. Like he's really like the first dude to like take over a game against Bama's defense like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I'll say high school performance, off of college. High school performance, Kobe, you know exactly what I'm getting ready to probably say. High school performance, best thing I've ever seen in my entire life. I'll never forget it to this day I die. Sitting in the stands, this man comes out of the tunnel, has his rib guard untucked, jersey pulled up, spinning the football around, looks at the stadium.
When Everett Golson came to us?
Bro, this man looks right at the Bluffton football, like
Everett Golson.
Oh
my god.
Bro, this man looks at the student section, spinning a football and said, I'm about to put on a show for y'all boys, and then didn't say a word. Finished the game with over 450, 7 touchdowns. We lost 49-0.
God.
Everett Golson went out there and made love to all of our classmates.
Which is why when he lost to Alabama in that natty, I was like, that's payback. I was happy.
No, I was happy. I was like, he deserved that. I was like, he deserved that one, honestly. But you came out here spinning the football, looking at all of us in the student section, talking about I'm about to put on a show, and you go out there and throw for 450 and 7 touchdowns. Yeah, you deserve that one.
So yeah,
that's man, that's tough. That's how all of Los Angeles felt when Vince Young came for the Rose Bowl and beat USC like that, and just like tried it in for the last touchdown. You know what I mean? That's like how all of LA felt. We're like, oh, that guy, we hate him.
Yeah.
Hey, yo, this was a fun show, man. This was a fun show. Lasted longer than we thought it would, but it was really fun, man. We gotta do this next week as well. Thank y'all so much for tuning in to episode 14 of FBS Fridays. Guys, y'all got anything going that y'all want to let people know about?
I'm sorry for my guy not being able to join, man. He got caught up, man. He's got a bunch of stuff going on with work and how he travels for work. But
that's all good.
Hopefully next week. I know we didn't get Justin on this week, but hopefully next week I got my guy D Smalls that played football and also ran at USC, and he can tell us stories about being in the locker room with Clowney and a couple other guys that have been over there, Mike Davis, Connor Shaw, the whole nine. So hopefully we can see what that's like next week.
Yes, sir. Any content I got out?
So next week for me, Monday, got HBC Flicks coming out on Monday, every Monday as usual. 30 minutes, HBC football this week. I'm going to be talking about HBC football coaches and the top position coaches between the SWAC, MEAC, CIAA, SIAC, and really talk about it, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And listen, man, I got more videos coming out as well, especially regarding South Carolina State Part 2 about FAMU and that recruiting class that they brought in, and then Jackson State's future that I will bring to y'all Sunday or Monday because tomorrow's my birthday, so I ain't gonna be worried about uploading. But hey, thank y'all again for tuning in, man. We love y'all. We'll see y'all next week. We out.
Yes, sir. Y'all boys have a good one.